A new Marvel Snap season kicks off on October 7th, and it is spooky time with full Marvel Zombies themed cards. We have a new mechanic coming to Marvel Snap with this season that we see here on our season pass card, the Zombie Scarlet Witch, a 3/2 who says after you play a card here, Horde +2. So Horde, for my old Magic the Gathering players in the audience, is very Amass inspired. Basically what it means is if you don't already have a zombie horde in play, the first time you horde, you create a zombie mass at a different random location, and then that zombie mass gains stats equal to the amount you hoarded. If you already have a horde in play, or hordes if you have multiple, they all increase in stats based on the horde number. So essentially, Zombie Scarlet Witch is kind of like a weird Angela, where like every time you play a card to her location, your zombie either spawns or gets bigger in another spot. So you're going to want to be combining her with things like Kitty Pride, or things that move around the board like Nightcrawler or Mercury or Jeff or others that you play into her spot and then add stats elsewhere, and then you can kind of shuffle them around. So this will be our regular season pass card for 10 Buckaroos next season. Also, as a shout out, because it's good to plug in here, if you buy your season pass and or super seat premium pass on the Marvel Snap web shop for October, you will get a Series 5 Snap Pack for free for purchasing it on the web shop. So make sure you go to shop.marvelsnap.com to buy your season pass for the season to get that extra. If you already bought it somewhere else, you're SOL. Speaking of the super premium pass, Headpool will be a 1/1 that you can acquire via that method. When this is destroyed, return it to your hand and then give all cards in your hand +1 power. So very Deadpool adjacent card, 1 drop that you want to blow up, but instead of just powering up itself, it gives itself and everything else in your hand an extra stat line. Is this the Clea enabler we've been waiting for? Maybe, maybe not. I'll be interested to see if this feels like a meaningful addition into the destroyed decks, because it obviously works very well with Deadpool proper. Getting extra bonuses onto Deadpool means that when you're doubling them later, it could be good. This is also notably another 1 energy card, so it's another card that Killmonger gets to blow up in the destroy shell from that perspective. One mantra I try to live by is you should spend your money where you spend your time, which is why today's sponsor, FlexiSpot, is such a fantastic investment for anyone like myself that spends a ton of time in their home office. They make the standing desk, the cycling chair you often see me pedaling on during my content, and my brand new ErgoX Pro office chair that I've been absolutely loving. This thing is an absolute comfortable beast, supporting up to 551 pounds with its reinforced nylon and fiberglass frame, and a feature that I did not realize I desperately needed an office chair until I had this one is its extendable footrest, allowing me to kick back and relax a little bit while I'm still getting my work done. It has full motion armrests that allow them to move with your body and adjust to the exact position that you want them to be in, and it comes with next gen lumbar support and headrest that adapt to your posture as you are sitting in it. FlexiSpot is going to be having a sale on October 7th and October 8th, where you can save up to 50% off on a number of products that they are making on the link in the video description down below. If you're someone that spends double-digit hours in your home office like myself in a single day with some frequency, I can't recommend making your setup more ergonomic. If you want a fantastic way to support my content while also improving your quality of life, be sure to check out FlexiSpot. Our third Series 5 card that's releasing with the new season is Colonel America here, a 3/3 who has the ongoing effect. Your other cards here have +1 power for each card you've discarded. This has synergy with for each turn you've discarded a card. So essentially, if you discarded a card on turns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, he could, in theory, give your other cards at his location all +6. More realistic, coming back down to earth. Let's say you discarded cards on 3 different turns over the course of the game. He would give everything else at his location +3, meaning that would effectively allow him to give 12 stats for 3 energy, which is pretty solidly above rate. This card also has synergy with one of the 2 Series 4 cards they'll be releasing in Series 4 snapbacks at the start of the season, which is Zombie Power Man. Zombie Power Man is a 2/4 who says end of turn. If you're winning here, discard the leftmost card in your hand. So there's going to be a very reasonable curve, I would wager, where you play like Zombie Power Man on 2, and then you play Colonel America into his location after him, and then Colonel America is going to help him keep winning the game, and then he'll keep discarding cards, and then Colonel America is going to keep making everything else there bigger. Our other Series 4 card releasing at the start of the season is Zombie Giant Man, a 5/3 whose on reveal says Horde +1. Then this gains power equal to your zombie horde. I'm expecting Horde as a mechanic and some of these individual cards to be very playable in Snap. However, going into it, I'm skeptical that being like all in on powering up a Horde is necessarily going to be worthwhile, especially considering the fact that they buffed Shadow King back to a 2/2 going into this season. A theoretical ceiling / curve to think about with this deck is, let's say you play Zombie Scarlet Witch on 3, and then you play, say, 3 cards into her location over the rest of the game. That would give you Horde 6 alone, and then Zombie Giant Man comes down and he gives you another Horde +1, so that would be 7. So he can effectively be like 10-ish stats for 5 energy over the course of the game, which really doesn't seem like a particularly competitive rate to be playing a 5-drop. So this one I'm a little bit skeptical on. It requires a pretty big investment for a pretty minimal payoff that also seems pretty susceptible to disruption. Moving along, our next weekly Series 5 card release is Zombie Mr. Fantastic. I expect this card is going to be quite good. He is a 2/2 that has both an on reveal and an activate. So the on reveal is Horde 2. So at a base level, this is 4 points of power for 2 energy. And then it also has the activate of give 4 of your created cards +1 power, which means that this is a 2/5 at a minimum. And if you have other created cards in play, it could in theory be a 2/8 with 3 other created cards. And there's no restriction on this, or if there's random squirrels or raptors or other things on the board, Zombie Mr. Fantastic is going to be able to power those up. This also gives you 2 more Horde that could be good with Zombie Giant Man and things like Zombie Scarlet Witch. So perhaps if there's an all-in Horde deck, this is likely a key piece to it. We're going to have not just 1, but 2 different limited time game modes running through the course of October, and they're both excellent. So we're going to have Sanctum Showdown going live on October 15th, and The Hunger is going to be a skill card that's available to be earned through the rewards there. This is a 1 energy skill that says on reveal Horde +3. So again, maybe that Zombie Giant Man at the start of the video is going to be one of those things that like we build up to over the course of the season. Zombie Captain Marvel will be our weekly card release on October 21st into Series 5. She has an activate that says destroy your other cards here to get +3 power for each one that you blow up, and then move to a location where you are losing. So this is a card that synergizes with my all-time favorite Marvel Snap card, the Hood. It's another way to clear that detrimental body while also getting a bonus from it. It's interesting that this is a card that's like a pre-destroy card that you put on the board, similar to Kid Omega. So you could, for example, play Zombie Captain Marvel on turn 4 and then play Nimrod into her slot on turn 5. I think the one big thing that stands out in my mind with this card is that she's going to completely clear a lane and she's going to jump out of it, meaning if you play her on 4 and activate her on 5, the lane that Zombie Captain Marvel was in is going to be empty going into turn 6. So you're going to want to make sure you have some kind of good plan to refill that lane after the fact, while also taking advantage of whatever she's going to be blowing up. Grand Arena's also going to have a card available to the people that are playing it as well. That's going to be Zombie Sentry that will otherwise release into Series 4 afterwards. This 3/4 has the on reveal of Horde +1 for each of your cards at the right side location. So in theory, this is a 3/8 if you play it out while your right side location is full. And if your Horde ended up in that right side location, you're going to add 4 points to it. This is, yet another card that Zombie Giant Man almost feels a little bit weird releasing at the beginning of the season, because it feels like that's one that's like, if it's going to be competitive, it's going to make sure that you need all these extras with it. Someone in chat accurately pointing out that this doesn't have the location restriction like regular Sentry, so you can play himself into that right side location, so he's going to be at least a 3/5, which isn't a particularly exciting stat line, but it's a nice floor to have. I believe this is the last Series 5 card releasing for the month. We have the Zombie Galacti, a truly weird one. So this is a 7/4 that at the start of the game chooses 6 other cards at random in your deck. And then when this card reveals, it transforms those cards into copies of the Zombie Galacti. So because they're copies, it means they're going to maintain modifiers. So if you Fastos or Okoye or Viv Vision or use some other kind of effect to make this thing's attack larger, you're going to transform all the other things that it's selected into it. You also have the deck building restriction of you're going to want to make sure your deck is full of kind of mediocre bodies of characters, things like Hood or Okoye or others that you don't mind turning into this Zombie Galacti after the fact. This card also has the restriction of being a 7 energy play, meaning you're going to need to make sure you have some way to either get to a turn 7, like with Magic creating Limbo, or you have something like Wave or Luna Snow or others to give you that extra energy so you actually play this out at the end of the game. This is one of those cards that, like, my gut instinct says I don't expect this one to be competitive, but it also just has so many moving parts and things going on with it that maybe it does something. I wouldn't completely write it off before I play games with it, but I also think this reads as like a lot of hoops to jump through for what is likely a pretty minimal payoff. And that's it. That's all 10 cards that are going to be releasing in October for Marvel Snap, with 5 of them at the start of the video, kicking off at the beginning of the season between the pass and our direct to Series 4 cards. Remember, if you're picking your season pass up for Marvel Snap in October, make sure you buy it at shop.marvelsnap.com in order to get that free Series 5 Snap pack added in on top of it. As always, I appreciate everybody that made it all the way through to the end of today's video. If you enjoy my roundup, make sure you smash that like button. If you happen to be new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to not miss any of the deck roundups, where we'll be covering where these new cards are performing the best as the season develops. Peace, folks.